Hello, this is Mike Lively of Northern Kentucky University, and this is part 4 of building a jet using box modeling for paper vision in 3DSMax. I want to address this polygon size because this looks a bit high, 162 and 147. What's going on here? Well, if you remember when I drew the planes here, I didn't pay attention to bringing down my polygon count. So actually, the plane polygons are actually being included in the polygon count. We're going to fix that right now because I actually didn't bring these polygons down to the lowest possible value. Let's do that now. We're going to right click on the screen and we're going to go to unfreeze. Let's click on one of the planes. And let's click on one of the planes to select it. And we can see, go to modify. And let's take a look at that polygon count there. And it's 4x4, so let's right click and bring it down to 1. And let's click on the other one, and let's right click and bring it down to 1. And let's go to the other one, and let's right click and bring it down to 1. And we can see now our polygon count is reduced to 72 by 84. That's a little bit better. So I'm going along here and select all those again. Click, control, click, control, click. And we're going to right click and freeze that. And now I cut my polygon count at least by half. That makes me feel a little bit better. Let's continue with box modeling now that we've cleaned that up. And let's do the tail fins. So I want to build these tail feathers, and I want to use the inset command, but I don't want to use the Control-Shift-A on my keyboard, the shortcut command there. I actually want to use the inset box over here on the tool panel. And the reason I want to use that settings box is because what I do to one side will be kept in memory, and it'll do the same thing to the other side. So make sure you're in 4 in the polygon selection. And let's go ahead and click on the polygon. And let's come over here and look for our inset command. There it is. And let's click on the settings box. And see, I automatically put the settings in there. If I scroll on that bar, you can see it gets smaller or larger. And what I do to one side will be done to the other side. So it's OK. And what I'm going to do here is go ahead and go Alt-Q to get into the isolation mode, so I can see things a little bit better. And I'm going to Alt-Z, of course, to zoom in on a little bit. And Control-P to pan over. And now I'm going to go ahead and Control-R to arc rotate around. Let's look for that 4 key. Select the polygon here. There you go. And look for that inset command. And click on the settings box. And you can see immediately it kept that value previously in memory and has applied that same value to the other side. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to arc rotate around, select the other box, and then extrude it. So let's go ahead and Control-R. Arc rotate around to the other side. Control-click to get Alt-Q. Control-click to select that side. Let's Control-R just to make sure that both are selected, and they are. And now we're going to extrude the tail feathers. So here, hit Shift-E, and just roll over here and extrude the tail feathers. There you go. Nice, good look here. All right, we can get out of isolation mode and go back to where we were. And I want to Control-R to see how we're doing on those tail feathers. Let's come around here. Look down. They're a little big. Now these tail feathers are a little bit long, so we're going to shrink them in a little bit here. So let's go ahead and hit, click to activate and hit Q, and let's go ahead and arc rotate around. And I want to shrink them in a little bit, so I'm going to actually pan over a little bit, Control-P, so I can get this in full view. Let's hit 1 to get in vertex mode. I'm going to select one side. Let's go back to our square marquee. I'll select one side, and let's come along here, Control, and drag around the other side. And I'm just going to hit the R key to get the scale, and let's scale the axis in a little bit. And there's our wings right there. Kind of small, but there you have it. Let's arc rotate and get right in there and see if we can get it on. That looks pretty good. Now I just want to shrink a little bit or reform their wings. So let's come along here and go back to vertex mode 1. Select this side right here. Let's get out of that 1. Select this vertex right here. Control click to get the other vertices. Now let's go ahead and hit my move tool W. Let's try it again. Click and Control click. And let's move that in. There we go. And that's looking fairly good. And let's Control-R to rotate around. I'm going to squeeze those wings just a little bit. So I'm going to go back to polygon mode. Let's hit 4 to get into polygon mode. Click one side. Let's arc rotate around to the other side. And let's click on that one, Q. Just about get it. And I'm going to arc rotate around just so I can see what's happening here. Let's go to my resizing tool, R, and let's shrink those a little bit. There we go. And what's being done to one side is being done to the other. Control-R. There you go. And there's my tail feathers. So let's move on with the rest of the craft. Let's Control P. Come on up here. And I want to work on this side of the craft right here. Notice the wings are right here. Let's Control R to get right down on top of it. There you go. A little bit more of a piece right there. I'm going to extrude that out a little bit. In order to do that, I actually want to pull a polygon right across here. I'm going to hit the cut mode. So it's Alt-C to go cut. I'm just going to slice right across here. Click and drag. And try to make it even. And click, and there's another edge. And let's arc rotate to get the side here. And I actually want to go all the way around, in a sense, to this point here. So maybe that was not the right approach. Let's Control Z to undo that. Let's click one of these edges. So I'm going to here hit 2 to get into edge mode. Let's click on that. Right click on one. Right click. We're on edge mode. Let's make sure we're on Q selection. Let's click on one of the sides. And I'm going to hit my ring command, Shift D. And there I did. And let's go ahead and hit Control Shift F. And there's, I got that polygon selected. Let's go ahead and, excuse me, I have that edge selected. Go ahead and hit the W key, and let's move that. And now I get the whole thing. Great. Control R to rotate on the top to make sure we got a good perspective here. Let's Control P to bring it over so I can see it a little bit better. There we go. And I got that just where I want it. And now I can extrude the sides and then put in the wings. So Control R. Rotate around. Let's click on 4 to get polygon mode. Click on one side. Let's Control R to go around and click on the other side. Click 4. Click. Make sure you're in polygon selection mode 4. Control R. Let's try this again. Rotate around. Q. And Control click. There you got both sides. Let's Control R just to make sure both sides are selected. Yes, they are. I'm going to use the bevel command for this. So I'm going to Control Shift B for bevel. I'm just going to bevel out a little bit and bevel in a little bit. Cool. And at this point, I'm going to hit the W key and just move it back a little bit. Straighten it out. Right. There you go. Control R to see how that looks. A little bit too much on that, so let's the W key and let's bring that a little bit back. Straighten that out. Looks good to me. Control R just to see it a little bit better. That's good. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring the wings out at this point. So let's go from this point. Hit Shift E to extrude. And I can't quite get on. There we go. Now we're going to extrude those wings out all the way. Good. Control R to take a look at the top there. Great. I'm going to shrink those wings down a little bit. So Control R to rotate around. Good. Let's hit our R key to shrink down. Good. That's what I want. Great. That's Control R to rotate back around and look down from the top view. I'm going to grab those vertices real quick. So I'm going to hit 1 to get to the vertex mode. I'm going to just marquee around one side. And Control marquee around the other side. And now let's go ahead and use that. I'm going to Control P so we can actually see the whole mechanism. We couldn't quite see it right there. So let's R again. Good. Now let's use that. And actually, I want my move tool. So go to W and let's move that back. Yeah, there we go. Looking pretty good. Control R just to see how that looks. Fantastic. So now I have my wings there on the side. Control R around. And I can do two things at this point. I can work on the cockpit, or I can create the missiles. Let's work on the cockpit. Now when it comes to 3DSMax, you just can't do enough. So before we go to the cockpit, let's make one more modification. When I arc rotate around, I realized that this is tail feather extended a little too far. We're going to bring that in, so let's arc rotate back. I want to select this edge right here, so I'm hit 2 to get into that edge mode. Okay, I'm going to click that one edge. Just hit the Q selection, that one edge. I'm going to Control R to get to the other side. I'm having a little difficulty here, so let's Alt Q to get into the isolation mode. There we go. Alt Z to zoom in just a little bit, and let's Control R to go around it. There we go. Now I can see that edge. Let's go ahead and Q and Control click to get that edge right there. Good. And now W, get my move tool, and let's move that back a little bit. There we go. See how we're moving that wing back? And I like that. I gotta look at this mode right here. Let's Control R around just to make sure it's looking good from the top. And that's much better. Okay, sorry. Also, I'd like to probably shrink these wings in a little bit right here. But you know, you can just do this all day long. So let's move on with the lesson.